regarding this particular story that we are tracking. Now, let's bring our viewers some of the videos that have in fact emerged on social media also. Now, this particular video, this is a terrifying moment when a massive wall of water surges into Nepal's Bhote Koshi river system. The force of the flood is enormous, and as rapidly moving water tears through the mountain valley. What begins upstream quickly turns into a devastating torrent downstream, carrying debris and everything in its path. The Bhote Koshi corridor has been among the worst hit areas, with roads, bridges and buildings facing the full force of the flash floods. Now, these visuals actually show how quickly conditions can turn catastrophic in Nepal's mountainous terrain. Let's in fact listen in.
पुरै त्यसले आमा लाइभ यो चाहिँ है गाइस यस्तो लाइभ छ ओहो पुरा ड्याम फुटेर आयो यार पुरा चाइनाको ड्याम फुटेर आ रहेछ यहाँ बस्नु हुँदैन आमा ल यहाँ हामीले अब ओहो यार यो पुरा ड्याम फुटेर आको
Over there, the residents also stating that some of the dams may have just burst, and that's how the waters are coming through. Well, these are the next visuals which capture the sheer disruptive power of the flash floods in Nepal's mountainous region. Water is rushing through the hills with tremendous force, tearing apart structures and damaging everything along its path. In mountainous terrain, a sudden surge can travel downstream with extraordinary speed, leaving very little time for people to react. The scale of the destruction seen here underlines the intensity of the flooding, as raging water transforms normally narrow mountain channels into powerful torrents capable of sweeping away infrastructure within minutes. Listen in. All right. In fact, a massive deluge has left large parts of Nepal's Nuwakot district inundated. These visuals show the extent of the flooding, with water spreading across areas that would normally be occupied by homes, roads and other infrastructure. The sheer volume of water has overwhelmed the landscape, leaving large sections submerged. Nuwakot lies within the river network affected by the extreme weather and flooding in Nepal. The images are a stark reminder of how quickly a flash flood can overwhelm low-lying areas, turning roads and settlements into waterways. Let's look at that footage as well. Well, let's look at the next visual that is coming in. The force of the flood is clearly visible in these images, as low-lying buildings are overwhelmed by rapidly moving water. Structures that would normally provide shelter are left vulnerable when flood waters rise and surge through populated areas. The water carries enormous quantities of mud, debris and other material, increasing the destructive impact. What makes flash floods particularly dangerous is the speed at which the water arrives. In these visuals, the devastation is a chilling illustration of how quickly buildings and infrastructure can be damaged when a powerful torrent moves through a settlement. Let's look at that footage as well. This next visual is the terrifying scale of destruction reported from Nepal's Rasuwa district. The raging flood waters have swept through the area, washing away parts of a village and also destroying structures along the river corridor. The mountainous landscape offers little resistance to such a powerful surge. As the water accelerates through narrow valleys, it carries debris and infrastructure downstream. Rasuwa has emerged as one of the worst affected areas in the flooding. These images capture the devastating impact on communities living along the river system. Let's look at these particular images. Well, these next set of dramatic visuals show the extent of the destruction in northern Nepal after the flash floods. Roads, buildings and other infrastructure have been battered by the force of the water. Let's listen in to the power of the floodwaters. Well, the power of the floodwaters can be judged from these particular visuals, where a major dam structure has been overwhelmed and destroyed. Infrastructure designed to withstand enormous quantities of water has been unable to withstand the force of this particular sudden surge. Let's listen in. Well, this is the aftermath that has been left behind by the devastating flash floods in Nepal. Roads can be cut off, bridges damaged and communities isolated. The scale of the debris also shows the tremendous force of the water as it moved through the mountains. For affected communities, the next challenge is now rescue, relief and rebuilding. Let's look at these visuals.
ढुङ्गेको कृषि कार्यालय अनि यो कृषि विकास ब्याङ्क यो चाहिँ के अरे सशस्त्रको जेल थियो सबै गयो अझै खोला बढ्दैछ अरे भन्ने कुरोहरूको जानकारी छ।
All right. So locals as well, looking at the destruction that has been caused, estimating the loss that has been caused because of these flash floods. Now these next set of visuals are frightening. They capture people running to safety as a powerful surge of flood water approaches and the speed of the rushing water leaves almost no time to react, forcing people to immediately move away from the danger zone. The flash floods are particularly deadly because they can arrive suddenly and intensify within minutes. Let's listen in. All right. In fact, this next visual shows the sheer force of the flood waters, which is on full display. As heavy vehicles, including trucks and buses, are swept up by the raging current. Vehicles weighing several tons are being pushed around as if they were almost weightless. That gives a sense of just how powerful the flood surge is. Once water reaches this intensity, roads become extremely dangerous and vehicles can quickly lose traction and stability. These visuals are a chilling warning of the destructive power of flash floods and why people in affected areas need to move to higher ground immediately. Let's take a look at these visuals as well.
हेलो दाइ हामीले के गर्ने अब गाडी जोगाउन सकेन हाम्रो चितवनको सुगाडी यहाँ परेछ हाम्रो हेलो दाइ हामीले के गर्ने अब गाडी जोगाउन सकेन हाम्रो चितवनको सुगाडी यहाँ परेछ हाम्रो
All right, we have some breaking news coming in. Well, India is